Today, we're diving into the tale of a girl who, through a series of questionable life events, ends up with a powerful drug stashed inside her stomach. Lucky for her or not, the package bursts and voila, she gains access to 100% of her brain power. Sounds crazy? Oh, it gets better. The story kicks off in Taiwan, where a girl named Lucy is standing outside her new boyfriend Richard's hotel. Richard, being the charmer he is, asks her to deliver a briefcase to some guy named Mr. Jang inside the hotel. Lucy, being sensible, says, "No way, do it yourself." But Richard? Oh no, he slaps a handcuff attached to the briefcase onto Lucy's wrist and goes, "Oops, guess only Jang has the key. Good luck." Such a gentleman. Lucy reluctantly heads in, mentions Richard's name at the reception, and before you know it, Jang's thugs show up, kill Richard, so much for love, and drag Lucy upstairs. In Jang's room, the man himself enters like a total psycho after just casually butchering someone in the corner. But here's the kicker. Jang and his goons are Korean and don't speak English. So Jang calls a translator because communication is key, even in criminal activities. Lucy's like, "Look, I'm just the messenger here. The bag isn't mine." Jang doesn't trust her, of course, so he writes the briefcase combination on a piece of paper, hides in a corner because apparently he doesn't trust himself either, and forces Lucy to open the case. Inside? Bright blue packets of some mysterious substance. To test it, Jang gives a hit to a random hostage who starts laughing uncontrollably until Jang shoots him because, he's Jang. Meanwhile, back in Europe, we meet Professor Samuel, who's giving a TED Talk about how humans only use 10% of their brains. He explains that dolphins are the real MVPs of brain power, using 20% of their capacity. That's why they've got built-in sonar more advanced than anything we've ever invented. Back to Lucy. She wakes up in a random room and realizes that, surprise, surprise, Jang's goons have surgically stashed one of those drug packets in her stomach. Apparently, they've done this to 3 other poor souls too. Their plan? Smuggle the drugs or face unpleasant consequences for them and their families. Classic criminal threats. While in the goons' custody, one sleazeball decides to touch Lucy, but when she protests, he beats her up, reopening her surgery wound. This causes the drug packet to leak into her bloodstream, and suddenly, Lucy starts pulling off gravity-defying stunts, like chilling on the ceiling. Boom, she's now using 20% of her brain. Cut to Professor Samuel again, who's saying, if humans could use 40% of their brains, we'd control other people. And at 100%, forget it, we'd control everything. Sounds like he's narrating Lucy's life at this point. Lucy, now brimming with newfound confidence, takes out the thugs, grabs some guns, and casually walks out. She hails a cab and, mid-drive, discovers she can eavesdrop on conversations from miles away. Just another Tuesday. She stops at a hospital, barges into an operating room, and scans a patient's brain mid-surgery. "Yeah, this one's not gonna make it," she says bluntly before ending his misery herself. She then hops onto the operating table, tells the surgeon to remove the drug packet from her stomach without anesthesia, and because multitasking is her new thing, calls her mom. "Hey mom, so I can feel everything now," Lucy says. "I even remember the taste of your milk when I was a baby. Thanks for all the good times, by the way." Her mom, understandably, is probably wondering what on earth Lucy's on. Literally. After a doctor removes the drug packet from Lucy's stomach, he notices that half of it has already been absorbed. When Lucy casually identifies the substance, the doctor freaks out, calling it a highly dangerous chemical. Meanwhile, Lucy starts seeing the world in a completely new way. Empowered, she tracks down Jang, takes out some of his henchmen, and confronts him in his office. Relaxed as ever, she drives 2 knives into Jang's hands and demands to know where the other 3 drug mules are. When Jang refuses, Lucy simply hacks into his mind and learns they're in Berlin, Paris, and Rome. Armed with this intel, she lets Jang go and moves on. Next stop, Lucy meets a friend, hugs her, and somehow feels every detail of her biology. Using her friend's laptop, she finds Professor Samuel's contact info and calls him up. "I've read all your theories, memorized them, and, by the way, I'm probably dying in 24 hours, she tells him. Samuel, shocked, suggests she share her newfound knowledge with humanity. Lucy agrees, promising to meet him soon. Before leaving, she writes her friend a prescription, because why not, and advises her to take care of her liver. Meanwhile, Lucy tips off a French police officer, Pierre, about the 3 drug mules and asks him to jot their names down with a red pen. The police manage to intercept the mules at airports in Berlin, Paris, and Rome, infuriating Zhang and his crew. On a flight to Paris, Lucy realizes she's hit 40% brain capacity but is dangerously close to death. So naturally, she ingests the rest of the drugs. By the time she lands, she's practically a human supercomputer. She walks into a police station, neutralizes everyone except Pierre, and demands he take her to the arrested mules. On the way, Lucy intercepts Zhang's conversation with his men, realizes they're after the drug packets, and hijacks Pierre's car to get there first. As Zhang's men start extracting the drugs from the mules, Lucy arrives just in time to save the day. When Pierre questions why he should help her, she kisses him and says, "Just trust me." Later, Lucy meets Professor Samuel at his university, where he's gathered some of the brightest minds to document Lucy's knowledge. However, Zhang and his crew show up, guns blazing, to kill her. Lucy, now nearing 70% brain power, starts sprouting black tendrils from her body, connecting herself to the university's computers. She builds a next-gen supercomputer in minutes while casually explaining to the scientists that time is the most important concept in existence. Just as Zhang's men fire a rocket at her, Lucy uses her powers to stop time and zips back to the Big Bang itself. As Zhang sneaks up on her with a gun, Lucy hits 100% brain power and vanishes. Pierre, now the hero, takes out Zhang. In the end, Lucy leaves behind her advanced computer loaded with all her knowledge for Samuel, and when Pierre looks for her, she sends him a text: "I am everywhere."